channel. I'm Dallas Green, and I know it's been a while, but you know, life happens, things happen, and sometimes we all get a little busy. So here I am today, and today what I want to go over are just overall the housing market and where we sit as of right now. This is kind of like a mid-year update on the housing market and a little bit of a prediction. And the prediction comes from the Federal Reserve. They had it was a conference pretty much going over the interest rates and the cuts that they were going to make. So let's jump into that. Let's start with a lot of people keep speculating a housing market crash. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say if there will be a crash or anything. That's really, I believe the housing market crash is kind of a personal judgment until it's officially said that we're in a crash. But for a housing market crash to happen, we would definitely need increased supply. And currently, compared to 5 years ago, we are low in supply. In 2020, we had 40% more houses on the market for sale than we do today. So in 2020, there were over 2.4 million houses on the market for sale, where we currently sit is 1.7 million houses on the market for sale nationwide. So for a housing market to crash necessarily, we would need increased supply, because statistically speaking, over the last 5 years, we've had more houses on the market. And essentially, until officially said, you are the judge of the housing market crash or non-crash. Me personally, if you ask me, I would say I don't think we're in a housing market crash right now. Now, could we get there? For sure. But you know, that's a lot of factors into a housing market crash. So, yeah. So, the Federal Reserve had a meeting, a big conference, and their overall projections for what they're going to do with the interest rates. Now, in the beginning of the year, they predicted that they're going to cut the interest rates 3 different times. But now that they are saying they're only going to do it 1 time. So, that being said, currently where the interest rates sit is about 7%. Depending on the kind of loan, you can go all the way up to 7.5, or you can go as low as 6.5. So, if they were to cut the interest rates by just 1 time, it would put us down in the 6% range, where we could still see some loans going as high as 7%, or maybe even going down to 5.5. So it would put that median range at the 6% mark and in the 6% area. So I would expect that. So overall, for the sales price of homes right now, we are sitting at a median of $439,716 in May, which is 5.1% of an increase over year to year. The national average on a 30-year fixed mortgage rate is 7.1% currently, which is a 0.6 increase year over year, which is a new record high for where we're currently sitting. Now, one thing you do have to take into consideration when you talk about all this is the season. When it comes to the seasons, people tend to typically sell more houses in the summer. That's definite, compared to the winter or fall season. So we are getting an influx of supply due to the season that we're in. As I said, currently nationwide there are 1.7 million houses on the market currently, with the average day being on the market is about 32 days, which I find pretty interesting. Houses are still turning over rather quickly. So it's very much doable to sell and buy a house in this economy. You just have to make every move count when you do it. As I said, 2020, there's more supply when it comes to houses on the market. So like I said, 2.4 million houses were on the market in 2020. Now, in 2020, we did see a big shift with the mortgage rate interest, which could definitely play a major factor in why we had so many houses for sale at that time. And currently the mortgage rate is exactly where it was predicted to be currently. We all foreseen this coming. It wasn't no big secret that we were gonna be here at this time. So yeah, 7.1% the mortgage interest rate. We're pretty much there. And So on the market, 35% of houses are overpriced. So 1 in 3 houses will be overpriced. Doesn't mean you can't negotiate them down. But if it's a house you truly like, don't be scared to make an offer on an overpriced house, as long as it can appraise for that value. Now, one thing that's going to pretty much keep us in this little loop that we're in with the housing market economy is the inflation to wages, where, as we all know, they're just not really meeting each other. That's keeping a big portion of America stuck at where we're at, is the wage to inflation ratio right now. And the supplies of houses is just lower, and interest rates are currently just high. So, and when Chen Zhao, she spoke on this situation where she's a market economist specialist. She spoke about how unaffordable housing is just the story of Americans right now, which is very much true, especially because of the interest rates we are seeing. But because the interest rates are so high and the supply is so low, it really has to be a balanced game on how the housing market approaches the situation. Because at first we need to see an influx of supply. So we need more houses for sale, and then once the interest rates hopefully start to go down, it can balance it out a little bit. If the interest rates were to drop today, considering the supply that we have, it would still keep the prices of a house just as tight as they are and just as expensive as they are, because now you have to understand the law of supply and demand. So if the interest rate was to drop, demand for houses are going to go up. But if the supply is so little, it's going to overall increase the prices of the house, because now there's more of a demand. So what would have to happen is the supply would have to start increasing before the interest rates can really drop and have a comfortable housing market once again, so the supply and demand can be equal, and then the housing interest rates can go down. That would just overall make sense. Otherwise, if it happens any other way, interest rates drop today, the inventory is low, prices are still going to be high. So something to definitely consider. We definitely need the interest rates down. But historically, interest rates have always been around this range. So you can't necessarily be scared of an interest rate, because you can always get a mortgage where you can refinance in a few years and bring down your interest rate once it's fluctuated to the actual rates of the mortgages. So don't be scared. Interest rates, they go up, they go down. That's just the name of the game. So yeah, I just wanted to pop in here and give a little update on the housing market. I hope all of that made sense. It made sense to me, but I jump all over the place when I talk sometimes. So well, I appreciate anyone who watches this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, give me your feedback, let me know what you think, and yeah, thank you so much. Have a good day.